You're listening to PetLifeRadio.com.
Okay, class, take your seats. I said take your seats. Class, sit. Shh. I swear you're all acting like a bunch of animals. Pet Life Radio presents Teacher's Pet, where you'll learn how to understand and communicate with your pet and train them to be the best pet they can be. It's time to see the world from your pet's point of view. So give a tail-wagging welcome to your Teacher's Pet host on PetLifeRadio.com. You may even learn a few tricks yourself.
Hi, welcome to Teacher's Pet on Pet Life Radio. This is Pia Silvani, Director of Training and Behavior at St. Hubert's Animal Welfare Center in Madison, New Jersey, and your host. I'd like to welcome a very special guest today, Jennifer Shryrock. Jennifer is the founder of Dogs and Storks, a national program that prepares families with dogs for life with their new baby. On June 2nd, 2008, Dogs and Storks was written up on the cover page of the Wall Street Journal. Dogs and Storks is a trusted program for families offering educational DVDs since 2002. And being a mother of 4, Jennifer offers practical tips and clearly explains how and why preparing before baby arrives helps everyone towards a smoother transition. So this is a really, really important topic that you won't want to miss. So before we talk to Jennifer, let's take a short break to hear from our sponsor. So don't go away.
Okay, class, grab your tuna flakes, biscuits, and bones. Teacher's Pet will be back in 2 shakes of a tail, right after recess.
Greetings, human. What planet am I on?
Welcome to Pet Planet. Here's a copy of Pet Planet magazine, Florida's most informative and fun pet resource magazine. It features heartwarming stories and informative articles from local and national pet experts.
Excellent.
Pet Planet magazine offers Operation Planet Rescue, helping rescued pets find new homes. And it's available at 500 locations in South and Central Florida and 24/7 on the internet at PetPlanetMagazine.com. If you're out and about with your pet, you may be featured in Paparazzi, candid pictures of you and your pet. For up-to-date pet-friendly events, activities, and pet-related services and products, Pet Planet Magazine is your final destination.
I shall take this magazine home with me.
Back to your home planet?
No, to my condo in Boca.
Pet Planet Magazine. Check them out at www.petplanetmagazine.com or 352-394-8578. It's out of this world.
Coast to coast and around the world, it's Oh Behave with Arden Moore. Find out why cats and dogs do the things they do and get the latest buzz from wagging tongues and tails in Rin Tin Tinseltown. From famous pet experts and best-selling authors to television and movie stars, you'll get great tail-wagging pet tips and have a fur-flying fun time. Oh Behave with America's pet edutainer, Arden Moore. Every week on demand. This is the place for a special paparazzi treat. Only on PetLifeRadio.com. Let's Talk Pets on PetLifeRadio.com.
Okay, class, hang up your collars and leashes. Teacher's Pet is back in session. Now park yourselves on the floor. I said park, not bark. Ugh. Okay, Teacher's Pet. Pay attention, there may be a quiz later.
Hi, welcome back. This is Pia Silvani, host of Teacher's Pet on Pet Life Radio. I'd like to welcome today's guest, and this is a tough last name for me, Jennifer Shryrock, who will be talking to us today about getting ready for life with a new baby, whether it be your first baby or maybe even your second baby. I mean, maybe your dog was your first baby, but I think the topic's important. Hi, Jennifer. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Pia. And I was just thinking if I had a clicker in my hand, I'd click you. Good job with the name.
Oh, yeah. Not an easy one. A few weeks ago, we spoke with Colleen Pilar, who's a licensed presenter for Dogs and Storks. I was really impressed with what she had to say, and I really wanted to learn more about the program, and I thought it could be beneficial to our audience as well. So before I ask you particular questions, can you tell us a little bit about the organization and how it got started?
Sure. Dogs and Storks started in 2001 when I actually was involved in dog rescue. I found so many dogs. I was president of German Shepherd Rescue here locally, and I found so many dogs surrendered due to fears and unknown circumstances, and also found a lot of dogs that were returned due to growling or bites that I felt strongly could be prevented. And there just didn't seem to be a lot of information and resources out there that I felt really were helpful for families. So I just started looking into it and decided that we needed a national program so that not only was it recognized in the dog community, but the childbirth community as well. And people had a lot of resources. And that's what started it.
That's an important tip, too. Yeah, a lot of times people, they'll look to the dog community, but not so much, like you said, in hospitals before the baby comes home, before the baby is born. Yeah, and I love the fact that you decided to go national with it. So you thought big. You looked at the big picture.
I do, and I feel so passionate about this because I believe strongly that if we can provide education to parents, we are doing such a service for the next generation of children and hopefully for the next group of dogs coming through. But I really am passionate about decreasing the number of dogs surrendered due to miscommunication.
Hear, hear. I'm so in agreement with you. What are some of the main concerns that people have before they bring a baby home?
The main concerns usually are things that I'm sure you hear often as well is, will the dog accept the baby? And will their dog be jealous? These are the top questions. And, you know, if people prepare ahead, we really address a lot of this in the program.
Yeah, those are key questions. That I have found the exact same thing. And you wrote a really interesting article. Does my dog know I'm pregnant? And I never thought about that, but that question does come up. And I get that question quite often. How do you respond to this? Share your information with our audience.
Sure. I feel that dogs are aware of changes. They really are detectives of body language. They study every little thing that we do. That's their way of communicating, is really studying body language and watching and observing. They're great observers. And I think that when our body language changes, especially towards the end of pregnancy, some dogs do feel that you're vulnerable. They sense different changes. They also sense changes, obviously, in your scent. Hormones are going crazy. There's a lot of different changes. And having just gone through pregnancy again myself, one of the things that I was reminded of was the mood changes. And for those of us who might be normally very calm, very stable, may have those moments where we're not as stable during our pregnancy. And, I found the times that maybe I was more emotional or crying or upset, my dogs were definitely more at it. That was not normal behavior for me. So they notice a vulnerability and a change. And for some dogs, that can really rock their stability and cause them to be concerned. And a lot of dogs, when they feel concerned about how we're doing, can react out of fear or can feel a little more protective in situations. So that's a lot of what I try to express to people, is to look at how they're responding, how they're behaving, and let's look at how that might impact the dog.
That's fabulous. And I think I want to expand upon that because I had a client whose dog actually started to become nervous eating just breakfast. No other meal, just breakfast. So we tried to pin it down to something that might have happened, the room, what could it be? And then she said, there was one time I was in a really cranky mood and I dropped something and then I got really, really frustrated. And it was when the dog was eating his breakfast. So he obviously connected the two. And if she would leave the room, the dog would eat breakfast. But when she was present, the dog had a difficult time eating breakfast.
Wow. Yeah. It's amazing what associations can be made and how that can impact a dog for a long period. And it's not every dog. We have to be very careful about assessing each individual dog. It's not based on breed. It's really based on the individual and what sensitivities they have. And that's a huge component of our program, is to really help families hone in on the sensitivities of the dog. So, example, that dog obviously has sensitivities, I would say, to startling and noises and things like that. That's something very important for families to note as they prepare for the baby.
Beautiful. I love that too. And because it's not a cookbook. Yeah. Right. Excellent. What are some of the key steps to keeping a baby safe?
Well, the first thing is obviously 100% supervision. I think when many people bring the baby home, there's so much going on. And having just gone through this, we have 4 dogs in our household. And, again, figuring out what's going to work for your family, knowing your dog's sensitivities, encouraging families to develop a familiarity with the dog in a way that's managed, by supervision. So what I mean by that is I feel that it's really important for dogs to be included in daily routines. They need to observe the baby so that they become familiar with the baby. Dogs that are not familiar with the baby or are put outside or excluded, actually the baby becomes a novelty, and that can be riskier. What we want to do is include the dog in ways that they can observe and they can, see the changes, smell, see, hear, all that in the comfort of their trusted person, and be rewarded for the appropriate behaviors that we would like to continue.
Excellent.
That is the safest thing. But I will say that there's nothing that replaces supervision, and as many times as we say that, supervision means at no time should the dog have access to the baby, even if the people are sleeping. I don't want, we have to watch where do you place the bassinet. When you're asleep, you're not aware. Actually, I know of a dog trainer who woke up with her Jack Russell in the bassinet with the baby because the dog used the bed as a leaping post, launch pad,
Right.
So we have to look at all those things, and that's the kind of thing that we discuss. What does supervision really mean? It means closing the door and making sure your dog doesn't have access and making sure that there's 100% adult awake supervision.
That's a great point, too. And I had to chuckle for a second when you said you had 4 dogs and you just had a baby, so this is your 4th child. Hopefully you didn't have the baby so each child could have a dog.
No, I didn't. We have 5 cats, so hey, we're stopping right there.
That's right.
No patterns, really.
So what are some tips that you give when educating parents about signs of stress in dogs?
Right. There are lots of signs that dogs offer to us that many people are not as familiar with. And, I wasn't familiar with it either. On our website, there's a lot of pictures that I use in our program that are of my Malamute Shepherd mix. I really wasn't familiar with the signs of stress when we adopted her years ago. And, but subtle things like, licking lips, turning away, even actually sudden scratching in the corner of the room. Some avoidance behaviors that we look at can be signs of stress. There's lots of different things, and we do a lot of education about that in the program and on the DVD, but also any kind of change in behavior. So, for example, if a dog that normally has a ravenous appetite, once you're home with baby in the first month or so, you see a change in that, that would be a sign of stress to me. Dogs that completely avoid the baby, 100%, don't want to look, don't, kind of walk on the outskirts of the room, don't want to participate. Any changes in their, what I would consider their normal behavior would be signs of stress and things that we need to really look into and work on for the dog.
Good. Yeah, you're bringing up some really, really good points. And I'm sure you've come across it, if you have major concerns about a baby coming into a particular household, how do you handle this with expectant parents?
I am very honest with families. I think there's no sense in sugarcoating something. If there is a dog that truly there are very serious considerations, maybe there's a very extensive history for that dog, we're going to talk about it very openly. We're going to talk about all the possibilities and all the options for management as well as structure for that dog so they can be successful. There are times they cannot be successful. There are times that children and, babies absolutely, for whatever reason, just don't agree with dogs. It's rare that I come across that kind of case, but it has happened. Many families have dogs that are adopted. And they have, rescue dogs have prior histories, and we just don't know where that is or what are the triggers sometimes until we're in the situation. So we have to be really fair and consider each individual case. But I believe in being honest, setting out a plan, working with my families closely, and doing what is right by everybody to decrease the stress.
Yeah, that's important. I find one of the concerns that I have when I'm working with families is a dog that has serious issues about guarding resources or food guarding. I'm not as concerned about, but when the dog is starting to guard, anything he might pick up, a tissue or something like that.
Socks.
Yeah. You never know when there could be a piece of popcorn that has fallen underneath the sofa, and the dog decides perhaps he's on the sofa and he's been guarding it, but the infant obviously doesn't know that once they start crawling. So I find that that's always a concern of mine.
Guarding behavior is very concerning because sometimes it starts out with one thing, and you and I both know it can start out with a very, maybe something that you can control. Some dogs extend that to be more generalized guarding of different things. I had a family that had a dog who loved little baby socks, and you could never tell when she had it because she tucked it underneath her. So there's a lot of different things, and that is a very serious concern. Absolutely.
Yeah. Don't go away. We're just going to hear a word from our sponsors. So please come back. Hang on, everyone. Thanks.
Okay, class, grab your tuna flakes, biscuits, and bones. Teacher's Pet will be back in 2 shakes of a tail, right after recess.
It's time for school for you and your friends, your furry best friends. Train your dog the fun and easy way with Teacher's Pet Sessions. Teacher's Pet host Pia Silvani teaches you step-by-step how to train your dog the fun and easy way. You get 8 30-minute live audio training sessions, complete transcripts of each session, plus a basic training manual to get you and your dog off to a great start. Training begins the moment you bring your dog home. Teacher's Pet Sessions offers positive reinforcement training to shape your dog's behavior and encourages upbeat, enthusiastic responses to ensure that your dog will enjoy learning. Teacher's Pet Sessions dog training is fun at both ends of the leash. So listen, learn, and laugh with your dog with Teacher's Pet Sessions. Get your copy of Teacher's Pet Sessions Volume 1 today. To order, go to teacherspetsessions.com.
Hi, this is Pia Silvani, your host. Bring your dog, tug toy, and treats, and get ready to have some fun.
teacherspetsessions.com.
Having a rough day? Longing for the dog days of summer? Think your fun furry friend lives a dog's life? Well, find out everything you're begging to know as Pet Life Radio presents It's a Doggy Dog World with pet expert and award-winning author Liz Palaika. Every dog has his day, and you'll find out how to make your dog's day fun and rewarding. Every week, on demand, only on PetLifeRadio.com.
Let's talk pets
Let's talk pets
on Pet Life Radio.
Pet Life Radio.
PetLifeRadio.com.
Okay, class, hang up your collars and leashes. Teacher's Pet is back in session. Now park yourselves on the floor. I said park, not bark. Oh. Okay, Teacher's Pet. Pay attention. There may be a quiz later.
Welcome back to Teacher's Pet on Pet Life Radio. This is Pia Silvani, your host, and joining us is Jennifer Shryrock, talking about getting your dog ready for a new baby. Jennifer, one of the main questions I get also is, you mentioned this earlier, will my dog be jealous? Or maybe when the baby does arrive, they feel that the dog is jealous of the new arrival. How do you answer that question or that comment?
This comes up quite a bit, and this is a really valid concern that many families have. It's funny because each time I added another baby to my household, I went through this as well. So I think that this is a normal question, and what I really have people focus on is what can we do to handle this. So it's not so much maybe that your dog is jealous. It really is more about what has worked for the dog up to that point with getting your attention. I mean, jealousy is really, it's based on attention. So we need to address that. What has worked to get your attention, and will those things still work? So, for example, if you're sitting and watching TV every single night and your dog comes over with a soggy tennis ball and drops it in your lap, when you're nursing baby or you're tending to baby, will that be appropriate, or will that get you to say, no, go lay down? No, or redirect the dog. We really want to look at how people are going to handle those behaviors, identify the ones that are no longer going to be practical or convenient, and give the dog an alternative way to seek your behavior that's going to work for everybody and be safe.
Perfect.
So that's the biggest thing is dogs. I've been in homes, Pia, where a dog will continuously offer behaviors that have worked before to no avail, and they keep going through their repertoire until finally they pee on the floor and say, that works. Because it does. Dogs will work for negative behavior. And, we really want to avoid the person feeling like they need to correct the dog when they come over. And I have to say, when you bring home a newborn and your dog comes over and seeks attention by putting their paw on your lap, that's not going to get a happy greeting.
Right.
And we really want to help eliminate those behaviors before baby's there.
Yeah, that's such a good point because so many people, and you probably have found this too, I have a case right now. She's due in 2 weeks, and they want to try to change the dog's behavior in a very short period of time before baby comes home. And I so agree with you. The earlier they start, the better. I mean, don't wait until you think there's a problem or there has been a problem and now you're starting to panic.
Absolutely. I love working. I even work with families who are adopting, and some of the families that I work with, we work well ahead of time. And I've got to say, the results are fantastic when we can work with people ahead of time to really isolate the issues and work on these to have a successful outcome for everybody.
Great. And life, as we know, is just so hectic today. And sadly, the dog schedule obviously is going to change. So what advice do you give people to help the dog stay exercised both mentally as well as physically?
I really encourage families to ditch their dog food bowl.
Okay.
And not use the dog food bowl. As long as there's not a medical need for that dog to eat at a specific time of day, and some dogs have that need, then I encourage people to measure out their food in the morning and use it throughout the day for mental stimulation and activities. There's a lot of wasted time when we just throw the food in a bowl and dog scarfs it down very quickly. We can be using that food to reinforce the behaviors that we want. One of the things that I do is a kibble fetch. I can be nursing my baby and toss a kibble, and Windsor, our rescued pit bull, runs and gets the kibble, comes back, sits. I toss another, runs, comes back, sits. It wears him out. There's a lot of different things that we encourage families to do to use the food, but we don't want to put the pounds on. We don't want that to happen. So we really want to use the food throughout the day. There's plenty of frozen food dispensing toys that we can do. I freeze them, obviously. I always say frozen food dispensing toys. But there's plenty of interactive games and things that we can do to include the dog and reinforce behaviors and wear them out mentally, wear them out physically, and have fun.
Yeah, I don't think people realize that, even just 5 minutes, like you said, of teaching a retrieve for a piece of kibble and then coming to sit and lie down in between, it exhausts them much more than running for 10 minutes many times.
Right, and they're engaging with you. That is so important. That is really what we have to emphasize to people. When you have the baby in the first 3 months, you really want to include the dog as much as possible. And some dogs, like I said, I have 4 dogs, and each one of them has such individual personalities and temperament and needs. And so the way we included each one of them was very different. And that's important to note, too. There's no one thing that works for every single dog. Different personalities, different traits. But again, Windsor is our most energetic boy, and he needed to be included in a way that was going to wear him out. And he needs to use his mind a lot, or he'll get into mischief.
Right.
So put it nicely.
And I'm not sure if you agree, but I think a mistake that people make, and it's an innocent mistake, is they don't give the dog any attention when the baby's there, but when they put the baby to sleep, that's when they give the dog all the attention. What are your feelings on that?
Well, I can understand how that happens, and there are definitely times that I believe that it is better for the dog not to be included. For example, if you're having a very stressful day and you're really not going to be pleasant to your dog in those moments, and they do happen, unfortunately, that may be an appropriate time to give the dog another option, give them a food dispensing toy that they can enjoy in a calm situation. But I would say most of the time you want to try to include the dog. In the first 3 months, we can include the dog, in the room with us. I encourage a lot of tether activities. That's one way if you don't want them directly underfoot. If you've practiced a place command, that's a fantastic way so that they can observe and you can toss treats or you can talk to them or they can just be enjoying something that they enjoy. But I like to include them as much as possible. It is really hard when you have those moments to yourself, to want to include the dog 100% when the baby is sleeping. But you really got to include them as much as possible in the routines that you're doing, too. That really does help set everybody up for more success and bonding.
Yes, bonding, definitely. Now, I was really impressed. I saw on your website, too, that you offer continuing support for family members. How is this done?
Anybody who has attended a Dogs and Storks workshop or has purchased the DVD is welcome to join us for ongoing support, and that is ongoing forever. And they can sign up on our website. And the purpose of this is really, there are many times that a simple question needs to be asked. And, everybody is struggling financially right now, and I feel very strongly that we need to have resources available so that it's convenient for people. And I want them to have a place to go. And that's what ongoing support provides. Either myself or another Dogs and Storks presenter will be happy to get back to them and answer any questions that they have. And it's a minimal subscription fee of $20, but it is something that we feel is very important and a good resource for families.
Absolutely. I just love that concept. I just have not heard that before, and I agree with you. I think it's so important. It's just sort of like a lifeline for them.
And Pia, questions come up. I mean, everybody thinks so. It's just when we bring the baby home and we got through that. But as your baby grows and develops, there are going to be questions along the way. And we really, really want to emphasize the importance of getting help, talking to people, and having good, positive solutions in those situations. And that's the point of the ongoing support, too.
Excellent. And I see also that you have a DVD for sale. So what's covered in the DVD if somebody's thinking about purchasing it? How can they go about getting a copy?
Our DVD is an example of a Dogs and Storks consultation, and it's an interview with a couple who's expecting, and we cover most of the important questions that families want to know. It really covers every single question that I've been asked over the years and the top questions. And we problem solve during this consultation and go over those things. And so it's really helpful for people. It also has a narrated PowerPoint that used to be the DVD because there's so much information in there on body language and information and activities. So it covers a great deal of information, and it's a great option for families who either a Dogs and Storks presenter isn't near them or they don't have a class similar to that. It's a great option for many people.
Yeah, I think that's terrific. God, we're running out of time, but I have one more question. How are presenters educated, or I don't know, are they certified, and where can people find one in their particular area?
Dogs and Storks presenters need to come with an extensive strong dog behavior background because they are working in situations where there might be aggression and other things that are very complex and complicated. We do provide ongoing support and education via teleconferences throughout the year and other classes that I offer to our presenters only. It's important we stay current in all the baby equipment trends and the different changes, and that's something that I really prioritize for presenters. But, it's important that they already have a very strong dog behavioral background, and then we just bump that up with the dog and baby dynamics. And you can find a Dogs and Storks presenter by going to the dogsandstorks.com website and look under Find a Presenter. And if we don't have someone in your area, you can always contact me. I do network with many trainers throughout the U.S., and we'll hook you up with someone who I feel is an excellent resource as well.
Fabulous. It's just such a great organization that you started. I think it's just so necessary, and I really wish you the best of luck. Hopefully we'll have more presenters in every single state.
Thank you, Pia.
Good. Thanks so much for joining us, Jennifer. Also, I'd like to give a special thanks to our producers for making the show happen. Also, if you have any questions, comments, or ideas for shows, please email me at pia@petliferadio.com. So, until next time, this is Pia signing off. Thank you, Jennifer, and thank you for your interest in Pet Life Radio.
School's in session on Pet Life Radio with Teacher's Pet. Learn how to communicate with your pet, train your pet, and see the world from your pet's point of view. You may even learn a few tricks yourself. Teacher's Pet, only on PetLifeRadio.com.